everyone. I hope you all had a great lunch and good afternoon. Welcome to LB Excellence, and today I will be presenting about the 4 types of geniuses. Part of the inspiration for this talk is realizing that you are special in your own way. Realizing that you may have your own strengths and weaknesses, but the ideal type of genius that you will carry forth in your life will bring out the best results. So that's the type of idea that I'm trying to convey in this talk. So, as usual, I would like to start off my talks with a quote from a famous figurine in history, which is Albert Einstein. So, he said, "Everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid." Now, part of the idea of this quotation is that we all know that fish are very adept at swimming, right? But if we judge them through the perspective of climbing a tree, it sounds outrageous. It doesn't make sense. That is, it kind of like conceptualizes modern society nowadays. You know, people, they always tend to judge other people through the bad sides, which like, oh, scandalous and mysterious. And instead of trying to convey people through that side, why don't we acknowledge the good things? Like, oh my gosh, she's so smart, she's so beautiful, she's so everything, you know? Yes. Okay, so let's jump straight to the talk. The 4 types of geniuses I will be explaining in this talk are dynamo genius, which is related to spring energy, blaze genius, which is related to summer energy, tempo genius, which is related to autumn energy, and finally steel genius, which is related to winter energy. Now we move on to the first type of energy, the first type of genius, which is dynamo genius. Now, dynamo genius, they are also known as idea smart. They convey ideas through their whole systems. Related to spring energy, dynamo geniuses include Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Michael Jackson, Beethoven, and Albert Einstein. Dynamo geniuses focus on their strengths in creating. They are usually unorganized and have reduced social skills, as well as developing a tendency to being forgetful or missing the small things. However, they excel in terms of their creative brilliance because they were best at answering the question, what? What is the idea that I was trying to convey? Dynamo geniuses, they are great at creation. Dynamos start and move things forward. They're kind of like the people who starts a team going forward through their daily activities. Kind of like daily life, right? We see social interactions through our different blocks. Yeah, they see the future more than anyone else. They often have big ambitions and have short attention spans. Now, what it's meant by short attention spans is the length of time for which a person is able to concentrate on a particular activity or subject. They may concentrate less, but their contributions to the team make a whole new revolution. They aren't so great at finishing, time management, and paying attention. Dynamo geniuses' winning formula is creating value through innovation. Dynamos have creativity, flair, and the ability to get things started. Now, dynamo geniuses are ideal in a team as they are the people who start things and keep it at the momentum. Dynamo geniuses' losing formula is consultation and relying on sensory awareness. What I mean by consultation here is communication, conversation with other people. They have a hard time doing that. And relying on sensory awareness, their instincts. Dynamo genius is weakest at timing, service, and sensing others. They don't know what other people are experiencing, their emotions, their experiences. Now, their opposite genius is tempo genius, which I'll be explaining further. And their type of learning is visual, a style in which a learner utilizes graphs, charts, maps, and diagrams. Visual learning involves observation to be able to identify and understand the subject. Dynamo genius's natural vision is perspective, asking the question what. Perspective is related to the depth of vision. Perspective gives a deeper view of what is possible. Dynamo geniuses are great at providing perspectives, but often at the expense of their social skills. They make huge contributions through their ideas and through their behaviors, but they are a bit short at social skills. They have a hard time trying to convey their ideas. Now moving on to the second type of genius, blaze genius, which is also known as people's smart. Related to summer energy, blaze geniuses include figurines such as Marilyn Monroe, Donald Trump, Oprah Winfrey, and Ellen DeGeneres. Yeah, I know, very controversial. Blaze geniuses focus on their strengths in leadership and connections. Their weakness lies in numbers and planning. They tend to change their focus too often, and blaze geniuses didn't like being stuck in an office. They convey their ideas through communication with other people, through social interactions. That is what they do best. They do the talking, the listening, and blaze geniuses are ideal for having a friend. They excel at making a difference through people with fun and variety, because they were best at answering the question who. Who is going to lead? Who is going to do the things that this team is going to do? So blaze geniuses are kind of like the social animals of society. They always interact with other people in ways that we can't even imagine. Yeah, the unimaginable ways they could interact with other people. Blaze geniuses are great at conversation and communication. Blaze geniuses are all about relationships, putting people first and talking to those people and hearing their stories. They learn through talking and telling or hearing stories. They aren't so great at details. Blaze geniuses are weakest at analysis and detailed calculations. They're not the type of person that's very adept at mathematics or science, but they are very adept at creating a very social environment that we get used to a lot in everyday life. Their winning formula is creating leverage through magnification. Now, leverage here is using something to its maximum advantage. Blaze geniuses do that best. Blaze geniuses ask the question, how can this only be done with me? They build their brand by growing relationships. Now, that question may seem a bit selfish, but in this sense, it kind of tells us that blaze geniuses, they are the people that will kind of liven up the situation, liven up the environment, so that everyone has a great time and fun time. Their losing formula is calculation. Blaze geniuses get stuck when they try and multiply, growing through systems that work without them. Their opposite genius is steal genius, and the type of learning that is situated with blaze genius is auditory learning, a style in which a person learns through listening. An auditory learner depends on hearing and speaking as a main way of learning. Blaze genius's natural vision is color, asking the question who. Color is related to the drama of vision. Color can make our vision come alive with variety and vibrancy. Blaze geniuses see the excitement, but often miss the details. That's kind of like the primary weakness of a blaze genius. Even though their social interaction is off the hook, but if they participate themselves well deep enough, they will often miss the small details that surrounds that environment. Next, we move on to the third type of genius, which is tempo genius, also known as senses smart. Related to autumn energy, tempo geniuses include Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, and Michael Phelps. Tempo geniuses focus on their strengths in their senses and perseverance. They always have a tendency to be extra careful and always wanted to take more time over things. They always stayed calm, focused, and grounded, taking their time, because they were best at answering the question when. When will things be done around here? When will I be able to show my true self? Tempo geniuses are great at staying grounded, which is also known as staying focused, dealing with lots of activities and being very hands-on. But don't expect a creative plan from tempo geniuses. Do expect them to do what needs to be done on time. Now, tempo geniuses' primary weakness is in their Yeah, creative planning. They're not really the type of person that starts, that kind of establishes a blank sheet. They're the type of person that just goes with the flow. They aren't so great at innovation, public speaking, strategic planning, and seeing the bigger picture. Their winning formula is creating value through timing. Tempo geniuses don't need to create anything if they know when to buy, when to sell, when to act, and when to hold. This kind of tells us that tempo geniuses, they know exactly what they are doing. They don't need to create anything, they just need to do what's right. Their losing formula is creativity. Tempo geniuses are weakest when they try and innovate from a blank sheet, trying to create their way to success instead of using their natural senses. Their opposite genius is dynamo genius, which is the first genius that I've explained, and their type of learning is kinesthetic learning. Kinesthetic learning takes place by people carrying out various activities, rather than listening to a lecture or watching demonstrations. Now, tempo geniuses, they often like to be very hands-on on activities and events. They are usually the people that we always connect, that we always identify, that always try to involve themselves in school activities and such. Tempo geniuses' natural vision is perception, asking the question when. Perception is related to the breadth of vision. Peripheral vision gives a wider view of what is there. Now, peripheral vision is our side vision, the ability to see objects and movement outside of the direct line of vision of our eyes. Tempo geniuses see the wood for the trees, but often miss the bigger picture. They always identify the smallest details, but when it comes to the bigger picture, they lack at adapting to it. Which brings us to the last genius, steel genius, which is also known as detail smart. Related to winter energy, steel geniuses include Henry Ford, Larry Page, and Mark Zuckerberg, which is the creator of Facebook. Steel geniuses focus on their strengths in systems and managing data. They lack in social interactions and liked being alone, and they often did their best work when locked away. Steel geniuses just kept focused on finding smarter ways to do things through their systems, because they were best at answering the question how. How am I able to perceive reality? How am I able to carry out the things that I'm doing? They are great at calculations, obviously. Steel geniuses love handbooks, manuals, and reading through small prints to understand and clarify all the information. They will take their time and get things right. They won't be rushed and will carefully create systems to build their flow. Usually, steel geniuses are best at focus. They always put all of their energy into something, and the result is something spectacular. The product is something amazing. They aren't so great at small talk and constant communication. Being introverts, they're not really good at social interaction, and will always try to find ways to kind of adapt to that situation. Their winning formula is creating leverage through multiplication. Steel geniuses ask the question, how can this be done without me? Through systems, they make things simple and multiply. What it means by simple and multiply is they excel at adapting to situations. Once they do, they will always carry out the same way. Their losing formula is communication. Steel geniuses often shy away from conversations, and this makes it difficult for them to exchange their ideas with others. Their opposite genius is blaze genius, and their type of learning is analytic, having the ability to analyze and divide the whole into its components or elements. Basically, what steel geniuses do best is they always take the bigger picture and then divide it into smaller pieces so that they can do things the right way. Steel geniuses' natural vision is clarity, asking the question how. Clarity is related to the detail of vision. Clarity can see in black and white, and can pick up details that others will miss. Steel geniuses see every detail, but often at the expense of the people involved. they're not really adept at social interactions, but they are very adept at calculations and all that. Now, seeing all these 4 types of geniuses, there is one more element that all of us contain or consist of, which is insight. Asking the question why. We are all connected to this 5th element, which offers the 5th aspect of vision, which is insight. Insight transcends our 2 eyes and is seen through what different cultures have termed the 3rd eye. Insight relates our outer world to our inner knowledge. What this means is that it kind of revolves around the idea of growth and development. Being pusat tingkat dalam tutong citizens, we always question why. Why am I doing this? Why am I carrying out my journey? Why am I on this 2-year journey trying to find who I am? And that kind of relates to our idea of consciousness. We are conscious in our own ways, and yeah, when we bring together the right genius team, which consists of every one of you here today, we build the power of great vision. Together we can bring forth something that is unexpected, yes. Through vision, we can turn our thoughts into action. With great vision, we can turn great thoughts into great action. Thus, we can turn dreams to reality. So, basically, yeah, I expect you guys to know your type of genius by now. Basically, insight provides the idea that we are very, I would say confusing. Like we're confused with what we're doing every single day of our lives. During our childhood times, we kind of questioned the thought, we never questioned the thought of, why am I going to school every day? And why am I doing homework that the teacher tells me to do? Insight provides the ability for us to know these type of answers. As we grow, we will try to develop our own answers in our own respective ways, and that kind of contributes to our uniqueness as an individual. So basically, that's it. Thank you for listening. Oh yeah, the table is now the table. Yeah, the table. Yeah, the floor is now open for questions.
The table.
Yes.
What kind of genius are you?
That's my
I'm a
question.
steel genius. Yeah, but the whole idea behind this video is trying to find your prominent genius, because there are a lot of people that has all 4 types of geniuses actually. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know whether this is applicable to genius, but I believe that there is a phase to everything. There is a phase where you, like what you said, you can have multiple of those things. But do you think the factors that could have sort of impact the way how we become more prominent to the other? Or is there a way to develop prominent geniuses more easily? Or is it something innate, something that we work on?
Well, I guess the first step is trying to find your prominent genius. Yes. What is your question again?
Say, I think I'm a steel genius, but I don't want to be a steel genius. I want to be able to talk to people. Do you think that's something that could work on, like develop?
Yeah, that's actually perfectly normal. Because people who, this kind of involves the case of identity crisis. People don't know who they are actually. So The whole purpose of this is trying to identify who you are. And
is there like a proper test that sort of, I don't know, like a personality test that sort of distinguishes genius like that?
yes, actually, there is. Take note, everyone. The test for you to be able to complete, which is just a 1-minute test, is called mygeniustest.com. So you'll be able to. The website actually contains a lot of features, such as trying to involve yourself with other types of geniuses, information about your type of genius, and so on.
My genius.
Any other questions?
Remember that genius cell, like genius S?
Yes.
Genius self, is it genius S and S in yourself? You know, like GENIUSSELF, or is it GENIUSSELF?
She's talking about the website.
Oh, it's just the regular genius.
So it's just mygenius.com.
Yeah, my genius. Yes, that's all. Actually, the whole person who created this idea is an entrepreneur named Roger James Hamilton. So he kind of uses the average data, I guess, not by scientific explanations for what types of genius are. Does that answer your question?
Anything?
Okay, let me just say this. No matter how what type of genius you are, it doesn't really affect your. Any other questions? Please, guys, I acknowledge you to ask questions.
Maybe. How is it possible for one person to have all 4 types of geniuses if some characteristics of one type of geniuses contradicts the other? Like, for example, you're not good at like still things, but these types of geniuses, they are very good. So isn't that if they come together, how does it happen? Like,
Well, the best answer I can give you is that we are unique, and yeah, like I said, even though you can adapt to all 4 types of geniuses, but not prominently all of them, you can have characteristics in one genius, but you also cannot have characteristics of one of the characteristics of that genius.
So only the good parts of that one particular types of geniuses.
Well, not the good parts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you just combine the bad and good parts.
Yeah, if you wanna be the best, you have only take the good parts, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
You said that everyone is genius, right?
Yes.
So what do you say about those people who need special needs?
Can you repeat your question?
You said that everyone is a genius, right?
Yes.
So what can you say about those people who actually need the special needs?
Oh, you mean those people with physical disabilities?
Yeah.
Well, even they are their own geniuses in their respective rights, because you don't really need to be physically fit to be a genius. Like we see Stephen Hawking, he was disabled, but he was like one of the most influential people in our society. So yeah. Yes.
Is it possible to change our type of genius from like from dynamo genius to genius?
Yes, because like I said, we all grow, and in turn we all change actually, because we're not really the same from who we are in the past. So yeah, like I said, life is a constant evolution, I would say. You always change. Yes.
Change the geniuses. So
Yes.
So you say that it's possible for us to have more than just one genius, right? But I don't understand why is there still like dynamo is opposite to what, then still is opposite to what. So it means that these two genius cannot be combined, or what?
Oh yeah. So it looks like a lot of people doesn't really understand that part. So let me just go back to the slides. Okay, so for example, dynamo genius, right?
Yes.
Its opposite genius is tempo genius. So if you are a dynamo genius, you are great at you have flair. If you look at the winning formula, flair in this sense means a special or instinctive aptitude or ability for doing something well. So you may have only that part of this genius, that characteristic. So if we go to tempo genius, which is dynamo genius's opposite, we see that if you look at the winning formula, one of the characteristics is timing. They are great at time management. So one of the characteristics in this tempo genius, which is time management, and one of the characteristics in dynamo genius, which is flair, which is the ability to do something well, it doesn't really contradict, right? Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like, you don't really have to have all of these characteristics to be that kind of genius. You just have to, you can even just adapt to one characteristic. That's what I mean.
coba tanya dulu.
Boleh tutup semua?
Tutup.
putus-putus nggak tuh?
Oke.
Oh, tadi itu putus ya. Apa?